Welcome, Star Wars fans, to episode 131 of Tatooine Sons. At first glance, we're led to believe that Dryden Vos is the primary villain of Solo's Star Wars story, but when everything shakes out, it's not so clear. We'll talk about Vos, the changes to his character during the production of Solo, and the villain behind the villain in Solo. Before that, we'll discuss some of the highlights of the Mandalorian Season 2 issue of Entertainment Weekly, poll results, and more.
Well, I admire anyone who can crawl their way out of the sewer.
It's time for Tatooine Sons.
It's true. All of it.
What is the name of the porg on the Millennium Falcon?
Force is strong in my family.
What do you think his name is? It's a big moment.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Maybe Turbis?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Turbis? Pablo, if you're listening to this live stream, that porg's name is now Turbis. It's a good Star Wars name.
We're not done yet.
These guys recorded an awesome podcast.
I'll say it's
Tatooine Sons. Everybody listen to this.
Welcome, Star Wars fans. This is Tatooine Sons, your weekly look at all things Star Wars from the unique perspective of father who shares his love of Star Wars. You messed me up with his two sons. I am Nathan. I'm joined
BB Nate.
BB Nate. And I'm joined first by my brother Sam Malahai.
That was like perfect.
All right, Sam.
And now you gotta set it off to me, and I'm also not prepared. A treat to Star Wars fans. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're not a Star Wars fan, then you won't notice anything wrong with what I'm saying right now because you don't watch the show.
You could have talked about the fact that Achuta was one of the in the opening scenes of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, but I was a little pressed for time. Okay.
And I didn't know you took the mic off. You're like, I'm about to
I
take
said
the
I'm
He
about to take
literally
the mic
said it.
off.
I'm taking the mic off.
You said you're about to take the mic off, and so I thought that was going to be a little bit further along.
No, we're good.
Well, this is already a great start.
All right, and of course you can't have stars without bizarre father figures who take the mic off without letting their children know while recording a podcast. My dad, the bow tie Jedi guy.
Yeah, so here's the reality. If you're listening to this on audio right now, we actually are broadcasting live on
YouTube,
our Facebook group,
Twitter,
yeah,
and Facebook group.
our Facebook discussion group. We've got it on
Periscope.
which is really Twitter Live,
Right.
Which that's the first time we've ever done anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
And actually YouTube Live, which I don't think we've ever done YouTube Live. Maybe we have,
except for the Rebels stuff.
Yeah, we did it a little bit for
Well,
Rebels.
I don't know if we did Rebels live.
We did.
but
Our
some
reaction to the final season we did live.
That's true. Okay,
So-
so yeah, and I think we did a reaction to the. We did a trailer reaction to something last year.
Was it Rise?
It was I don't remember anyway.
Anyway.
And so we weren't ready for certain pieces of the
Nope.
audio, so I apologize.
But that's just Tatooine
BB
Sons
Nate
for
was
you.
talking, nervous talking while I turned the mic on, and Sam didn't have his Achuta.
Okay,
Is
I
it
have a
Achuta or Ichuta?
Achuta.
Ichuta is a really bad word.
It's so bad they can't even translate it.
Yeah, and Achuta is
Hello.
The good one.
Or hey.
Okay,
Or hey, or
So it's kind of not convenient that they're so similar.
yeah. It is what it is. We want to have fun when we do Star Wars talking, so that's what we're going to do right here. So, how's your day gone?
Fine.
Normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Nothing-
Good Sunday.
Too much.
So we talked about the first piece that we were going to talk about already, which was broadcasting this
Just-
live
yeah.
on our discussion group. So we're good on that. We kind of hinted at it, so let's talk about it. We are rewatching The Mandalorian in preparation for the premiere of
Second
season 2
season
in less than 50 days. I think it's like 47 days.
And we still don't have a trailer.
I know. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But let's talk about the rewatch right now. How many episodes did we watch last night?
I think like 5. It was pretty quick too. It didn't feel.
Well, that's because they're a
long.
lot shorter than we originally thought they were going to be. Which
That's
was
true.
going to be hour-long episodes. They were like sometimes
Half
30.
an hour. Yeah.
26.
And then they get longer towards the end of the season, I think.
True.
If I'm not mistaken, aren't they?
Yeah, there were some 45-minute ones, but they were not as common as
I think the last
half
episode
hour.
is the longest. I think it's 52 or something like that.
Okay.
That'll be good. So, what are your thoughts on the Mandalorian season 1 now that you've had space after watching it all the way through, and now you're doing a rewatch? What are your thoughts on it?
It's fun.
I admire the writing more now that I know what's happening with it. I'm able to notice why they're doing certain things, and it's interesting to see the pace of it, because you'll be watching it and you're like, oh wow, the pacing for this is way different than a movie would be, since this is a TV show. Like he's on Tatooine and stuff, and he's just moving from section to section a lot quicker than you would in like a movie. So it's interesting to notice those things the second way through. But as for like details and stuff, I don't think I've really noticed anything too significant. So
what about you, Sam? BB Nate?
I've always loved the show
on the video, so
and I've seen the first, second, and third episode a ton of times. I don't know why, but I just have. I think because I kept watching them when they first came out because I loved the show so much. So I really remember those. But 4 and 5, I didn't remember that much at all. So it was fun to see them.
4
again.
is the one with Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
that directed it.
Yeah.
Right? The one where he has his lady friend.
Yeah. And the ATST and all that.
Yeah. So that was... It is what it is. It was a good episode.
I like that episode.
Is that your new phrase for this episode?
It is today.
What?
It is what it is.
Oh, it is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be the Pee Wee Herman's word of the day. You guys don't even know what that is, do you?
Nope.
They don't know what Pee Wee Herman's.
Oh, I know who.
Isn't he like
Herman is?
Mr. Bean kind of?
Yeah, we don't want to talk about Pee Wee Herman, okay? Because he had a run in with the law. Let's just say.
Really,
and it was really weird.
Okay.
Does
it have anything to do with his name being Pee Wee?
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. So.
All right, moving on. That's way off topic.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what we just talked about there.
All right.
I've enjoyed. I've watched. I watched it flying. Was a trip recently. I think it was when I was coming back from
Colorado.
No, when I was coming back from Nicaragua back in February.
Yes.
I watched the entire thing all the way. Front.
How
to back.
long was that flight?
Like 4 or 5 hours.
How were you able to watch it?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Maybe I'd watched a little bit of it earlier. I don't remember. But
okay.
What's weird though is like I loved this show, and I've only seen every episode I think just once.
Why do you think that that's the case?
Well, I think part of it is I just don't watch TV shows very much, especially on my own time. It's generally when we're in a family, and I just don't go sit and binge shows very much. So I liked The Mandalorian when it came out, but I figured there are other things I want to do on my own time. But now that we are watching it, I am enjoying it. And I've noticed when it comes to TV shows, I like shows better that have like one overarching kind of storyline throughout the season. Like we just watched Cobra Kai, and it's got, each episode is its own story, but it's all, one thing, as opposed to something like, I don't know, House. It's more of a case-by-case basis, literally.
There's no reason for you to watch the next episode.
Right. But with The Mandalorian or Cobra Kai or things like that, there's always a connective story. So I think that's why I enjoy it a little bit better, or at least enjoy watching more of it.
Cool. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And just so you know, we've got some new stuff that we're going to be doing. I think we've talked about it a couple times now, last few episodes, but we're planning, and part of the reason that we're broadcasting live on our platforms through Facebook, through StreamYard, is to try to make sure that we've got the audio, the video, everything working the right way.
Yes.
So that we can use that platform to record a episode by episode breakdown of the best Star Wars animated series, Star Wars Rebels,
the Clone Wars, the 2D animated one, right?
Ooh, the 2003
that's
one.
Not bad. Tartakovsky's.
I did like that one.
Yeah, but no, the best one is Star Wars Rebels.
I know, and I'd have to.
We're going to go through all 4 seasons. We're going to go episode by episode. Our goal is to have as much as possible a weekly episode with it, but we're not going to record it every week. We're going to record one time per month is the goal. Knock out 4 episodes and then have them ready to go. And we will not be doing those live because of that, because that would be hard to do it every week and record them all at once for 4 episodes. So
you underestimate my power.
That's a new one.
I have thrown some different ones in here this time. So I think that's going to come out starting in October is the goal.
Cool.
Is to have that.
Nice.
So why don't we talk about last? I'm going to get it right. You okay over there, BB Nate? He's yawning. All right. We're going to talk about last week's podcast poll of the week.
Are you brainless?
I never asked that question until after I've done it. What?
So last week's podcast poll of the week had to do
We're
with...
unmuted, right?
Yeah, we're unmuted.
Okay.
It had everything to do with Thrawn. Of course, which Thrawn is your favorite? Vote and reply with your why. You guys did okay. Not as good as the week before. I'm going to be honest with you. You know,
I got a bad feeling about this.
Let's go with... instead of like 400 and some votes, you had 273 votes. We need to do better than that. But right now, our poll for this week that hasn't technically even come out yet, I released it early, has got like 100 and some votes already. So you guys are doing good. We'll talk about that.
They already knew that they had messed up last week, so they're making up
they're
for
already
it.
taking initiative with this. Which one is your favorite? Legends, Star Wars Rebels, or new canon novels? I think we all agreed that it was Rebels for us. No, I think you said novels.
I think I liked the new novels best.
You?
Oh, I said Legends.
You
That's
said
right.
Legends.
I said Legends.
Yeah.
We all corresponded with our
Topic.
respective topic because...
But I mean, it wasn't like we planned that. Like we all genuinely
That
agreed
was what
with
we chose.
Yeah.
So, all right. Who's got the first one there? Sarlacc Digest.
Well, aren't we going to give them the results?
Oh, yeah, we should do that.
No. We're going to let them guess.
Just
Keep
guess.
them on their toes.
Well, if you're,
Go to our Twitter page.
Yeah,
Look at them yourself, and then vote on the new poll.
And this is definitely because these two have no clue how hard it would be to find that poll right now on Twitter.
I have
because
no
of
clue.
all of the thread that's there. So
I have
anyway,
no idea how Twitter
which
works.
Thrawn is your favorite? Legends, Star Wars Rebels, new canon novels. Legends and new canon novels tied.
That's pretty crazy.
I don't think we've ever had that happen on a poll like that. I mean, we've had them really close.
Yeah.
But a complete tie down to like the 10%. 29.3% Legends and new canon novels. And then we had 41.4% said Star Wars Rebels.
Landslide.
It was a landslide.
Interesting.
All right, who's got the first one?
That'll be me. This is from at Sarlacc Digest. They said, the last 4 books have given me a way better perspective on the man, to the point where I wish he was my boss in real life. I'm all about solving puzzles, giving credit when things work, taking the blame when things go bad. The dude was a legend in the Empire and with a chiss. See, I agree with this guy. He gives you the new books really did give you a deeper look into the character.
Okay, did we all have our topics chosen from last week again for the comments?
I don't know. We'll see.
Probably.
We'll see. Who's got the next one? Legends. Yeah, that's it. JT Deal, DIEHL 74. So JT Deal 74, the Legends trilogy, because it got me back into Star Wars and reading. Thanks, Timothy Zahn. I think that's
a good reason.
A good reason. It was the way that's what Legends did for me, or that's what the Thrawn series, Heir to the Empire series, did for me with Star Wars. So. All right.
Now you have oh wait,
That's
sorry,
not
just
right.
at WJ Wagner 77. That is WJWAGNER 77. Just want to make sure they knew that. It's been a long
please.
I don't know why I just felt like saying that.
All right. It's been a long time since I read the Legends versions. I liked it that they brought him through Rebels.
You're having a hard time there, Nate.
Well, I mean, I'm having to read it through the mic. I'll just read it
So
this way.
re-angle.
It's been a long time since I read Legends versions. I liked it that they brought him in through Rebels. I see the new canon as an extension of Rebels.
Yeah, and lots of people had comments about how they felt that the last two answers, Rebels and the new canon novels, was basically the same Thrawn. What do you think about that?
It is the same Thrawn, but no, because he changes. Now we have Thrawn Ascendancy, which is way before Rebels Thrawn. That's not even Empire Thrawn. Then we have Thrawn Alliances, which happens before he's even in the Empire, and then we get to see the more fleshed out version of him. And it focuses on him. We get to see his background, not him being the bad guy.
Yeah, I think it's still the same character. I think we just get a different perspective on it. In the books, he's the protagonist, so you're going to see things differently in the book than you are in the TV show, where he's going against the good guys in a sense. So I can see the confusion there for sure.
That's exactly how I responded. I said, in the novels, he's the hero.
Right.
He's the protagonist. He's and you see him as almost the good guy.
Well, yeah,
even
when he's
though
going up against Rebels.
Exactly.
Like Night Swan and stuff.
Exactly. But in Rebels, he's the bad guy. He's the antagonist, and he's a secondary character. He's not a primary character. He's a fun character. He's awesome in Rebels.
Yeah.
But he's not the primary character in the Thrawn novels. And so it feels like a very different Thrawn to me because we're seeing a different perspective of it. So, all right, this week's poll, the one that's out there right now, it's got like 110 votes already as we're recording, which is really cool. That's like prophetic or something. All right. Who was the true villain of Solo: A Star Wars Story? Vote and reply with your why. Dryden Vos, Tobias Beckett, or Maul?
Maul.
Why? You can't just say it.
Maul, because he was one working Dryden Vos, which was one working Tobias Beckett. So technically, Maul was the real villain.
He's controlling both of them. All right, Sam.
It's Kira.
Oh, don't be like that.
She was a jerk. She betrayed Han.
She dumped
pretty messed up.
But I think
she used him.
We haven't talked about Kira on the show a whole lot, but I think.
Do we put her in greatest villains?
No. Kira. What?
She was manipulated.
Kira realized that if she went with Han, that Maul and Crimson Dawn would never stop hunting them, and she actually says that. On, I think, is it Savareen? Is that where they're at the end, where they're getting the coaxium?
Yeah, you're right.
She's saying that. She's like, you can't get away. There's no future. All of this kind of stuff. And she's got to go along with Han's plan to, get him to leave.
Right.
And go get Chewie, knowing that there's no way that she can go with him. And it's not because she's trying to betray him. It's because she loves him.
Yeah, I know.
So she's not a villain.
So, is our next topic going to be the greatest...
secondary characters?
No, the greatest gray characters in Star Wars. Not really doing either side.
I'm not sure. I was thinking about doing greatest bounty hunters. I was going to do greatest scoundrels,
greatest smugglers, greatest pirates.
Scoundrels,
greatest droids.
Droids, yeah.
Droids might be fun.
Yeah, because there's enough there. I think you could.
Droids would be fun. K2SO, L3, of course, R2,
AP5.
C3PO, AP5, Chopper.
Yeah.
There'd be some fun stories.
Because they don't get a lot of attention.
They don't get enough love.
Man, we might have did something here.
We might have come up with something. All right. Well, moving forward, new info, but no trailer for The Mandalorian. Poe Dameron is a... Poe Dameron?
Poe Dameron?
Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron is a slimy, double-crossing, no-good swindler.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah, that's Lando's words. And Daisy Ridley is saying we've got a chance at seeing her in Star Wars again. That's all next.
So
on
you're
Hot Takes.
saying we got a chance.
This is where the fun begins.
Well, you want the bad news or the really bad news?
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
All right. I was saying when we were doing the last thing that we weren't on mic when you were earlier.
Yeah.
We might have been for the video stream now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway,
did we say anything that might...
I don't think we said anything that was inappropriate. We don't say anything inappropriate. All right, still no trailer, but we have gotten some official info on season 2 of The Mandalorian.
I'm all self-conscious. Thanks, Dad.
All right, let's start this again. Still no trailer, but we've gotten some official info on season 2 of The Mandalorian.
This is the way. This is the way. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is from EW.com. You guys read it, right? EntertainmentWeekly.com.
Yeah.
Favreau,
it was a long article.
It was a long article. Let's talk about some of the things.
Most of it was just not season 2 stuff.
Let him finish.
What is with that?
They're holding everything back. Okay, let's talk about it. All right. Why haven't we gotten more season 2 info yet?
What is going on? What is so important that they're not releasing stuff?
Either they've got a lot of big information they don't want coming out,
or
they've got
lazy.
Nothing. Those are the only options.
Or they're lazy and just don't want to put anything out.
I don't think they're lazy. I think either they're gonna be dropping there's some serious stuff in this series that...
I mean, they were talking about in the article, though, that they have to meet that bar of the last season.
Right. Like,
yeah, we're going to talk about that, but I'm just talking about why haven't we seen more season 2 stuff right now?
I just don't...
I feel like
it could be some... It could be because of the... how do I put this lightly? Political climate right now. Maybe they don't want to overshadow certain things by...
No, give me my Star Wars.
Well, you know what I mean, Nathan. They've got to be careful, too. They've got PR, and they need to be careful about it. That could be part of the reason.
Overshadow what, though?
Like political
stuff. No, they're
stuff.
Not worrying about that.
No,
I don't know.
They don't care about that.
Okay, then I have no idea.
I feel like they're holding stuff back because they have so much big announcements that they can't try. I feel like they are like, we have so many big announcements in this. They're probably like, we have so many big announcements in the series. We don't have enough to put in a trailer.
Well, let's talk it through. So, in the article early on, John Favreau, producer.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
And all around really cool guy.
He made Iron Man.
He made Iron Man, yeah. He mentions that they had lower expectations from his perspective going into season 1 of The Mandalorian.
No wonder. Star Wars
What do you guys think about that? Do you think the expectations were lower for the... I mean, lower than now, maybe. Low expectations going into it? I don't think so.
I think there were high expectations, but I think in the article they said, they were lower than a movie. We'd not gotten a live-action TV anything since the holiday special. So it's really not hard to top that. So the expectations were already low. And then you pile that it's not a new movie. It's just some TV show with a pretty backwater character who seems like he's not going to have any effect to the main story.
New character we didn't know, not a legacy character.
Right. It's just like, you know what? It's a cool Star Wars show. We'll watch it, basically. I don't think anyone was expecting the level that we got. I mean, we got movie quality stuff, and I think that blew us all away. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to beat that in Season 2.
What do you think? Expectations, were they low going into Mandalorian Season 1?
I feel like they were low before Celebration. After Celebration, everybody was really excited because we got a lot of
some behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah.
We got a trailer. Did we get a trailer? We didn't get a trailer.
We got a 5-minute scene from the first episode, yet we still don't have a trailer now. But I feel like, yes, the expectations were low. Not as low as now, though. And I can understand why they might think that the expectations...
Not as low as now?
Oh, no. They were lower than they are now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But I can understand why they thought they had low expectations for Season 1. Because...
Okay, so is this a problem going into Season 2? Are the expectations just way too high for The Mandalorian Season 2?
Well, I think if they bring in those characters that have been rumored to come in, like Bo-Katan or possibly Boba Fett or things like that, I think that could really help. But again, it's going to be tough to beat because the things that they did in the first season were amazing. I mean, bringing in Baby Yoda, no one saw that coming, and that immediately just launched the show. So they're going to have, I feel like they'll have to bring in some pretty heavy hitters or some pretty big plot lines to make it work. But I think they've got room to do that. They've got characters they can bring in and they can make the story larger and more, influential to the larger story of Star Wars in this season. And I think that'll help meet those expectations.
I think that what would be enough for me in the season is knowing the species of Yoda and Baby Yoda.
You want to know what the name
and the name of Baby Yoda is. And the
like
name
Baby
of
Yoda's name?
Baby Yoda's name and the name of the species. I want to know what
his
the
name's
species
a child.
Is.
Ha ha.
He has a real name. You talked about this a few weeks ago. But I mean that would be enough for me.
That's all you want from the show. They could release a 30-second clip of them talking about that, and you're good for Season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
For me, but no, not for other people.
So let's talk about Dave Filoni, who's awesome.
He's a cool guy.
He's one of the I don't even know. Well, I'll just say this. I watched more of the Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, yesterday, and I am still more and more convinced that he needs to be running Star Wars.
I have spoken.
But anyway,
are you a hater?
No, I'm not a hater. I think Dave Filoni's amazing. I didn't say anything negative about anybody else because I don't feel negative about anything else with Star Wars. I just think that Dave Filoni gets it when it comes to Star Wars, and I think he needs to be making all the decisions for it. Anyway, on why Mandalorian works, this is what he said. Quite simply, I'm not even going to try. Well, quite simply.
No.
I can't do it.
You need a hat for it to work.
You can't do it too slow.
Impressive.
You got to
Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Talk normally.
I can't do Dave.
Just let him read it.
Yeah, quite simply, we didn't overthink things. George started with these very iconic characters whose relationships are very clear, and then introduced what's at stake for us, the fate of the child, says Filoni. And audience tends to enjoy a story by sticking to tropes and characters they understand, like a gunslinger in the Old West. So it was a clear story and a fun adventure, even if you've never seen anything in the Star Wars universe. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the reason why tropes and cliches exist are because they work. You have... It's like the Arthurian legend story. You look at Star Wars and it follows that legend to a T, and there's a reason why that works, and it's still used today in a lot of movies. So I agree. You've got to use a good basis so people understand right off the bat what's happening in the story. Wow, I totally lost my train of thought there. Sorry. You use that to get them started, but then you have to switch it up and make it a little fresh enough to keep people interested.
Awesome. Yeah. BB Nate?
the tropes are always good to bring people in, and then you add stuff on like Baby Yoda, and then other side characters that really make people keep going. But seeing a cool gunslinger in the Old West is always a fun thing to go through, and that's what can draw people in. That's what drew me into the show, because I'm like, it's just gonna be a cool,
not
like,
a Jedi.
I'm like, it's just gonna be a cool Star Wars Western show. It's gonna be fun, and then we had so much more on top of it. So I think that's why it worked.
Filoni had some things to say on what it's like working with Favreau. I don't think any of this is a surprise for us, especially having watched Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, but I think it was really interesting. I'll come up with ideas, and sometimes Dave will say, actually, this is probably
Favreau
talking
Filoni.
about Filoni. Yeah.
There you go.
Hold on.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
All right, so John, is that his name?
John.
Yes.
That one guy?
Yeah.
That one guy's talking about the other guy, and he says, I'll come up with ideas, and sometimes Dave will say, you can't do this in Star Wars. Then I'll cite examples from the movies or Clone Wars to try to use as a justification. I'm like a lawyer talking to a judge. I am to him as he was to George. I won't do anything without Dave's approval, and to his credit, he understands that Star Wars needs to be fun and ever-evolving. Thoughts on that relationship and working together?
It's so cool. But that goes to show that Filoni is first and foremost a fan of it. So is John Favreau. I mean, he went and cited things from movies, but it's good to know that the series is in the hands of two guys who enjoy the franchise and want to keep it fun and entertaining and what it was always supposed to be. But it's kind of cool that they're like, he's like, Filoni's like his own personal story group on set.
Well, Dave is story group, you know?
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Article seems also to unofficially confirm Ahsoka Tano, Boba Fett, and Bo-Katan. Thoughts? Seems like it was there.
Yeah, well, the Boba Fett thing was a little bit more vague. They just talked about Tamara Morrison coming, and they said it could be Boba Fett or a clone or
Rex or
right.
something.
But they did mention it, so that's either confirming the rumors, but I don't know if that's fully confirming the character's appearances. But
Sabine was mentioned.
That's
no
true.
Thrawn, no Ezra. There was all those rumors for a while about those guys.
I was never
back.
super confident in those.
Yeah. What about Santa Claus? Did that rumor get debunked?
I think so.
He's not coming. Okay. The time for a season 2 trailer is quickly slipping away. If one is coming, it'll probably need to happen very, 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 very soon. When it does, we're going to try to do a reaction video on our Facebook Watch and YouTube channel, so you can follow us on both of those. Make sure that you don't miss it. All right. Next one, Poe Dameron's history with Zori Bliss and the Spice Runners. Is reviewed.
So who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
I think you use that clip every week.
No, I haven't used that clip in a long time.
Yes.
So anyway, young adult novel, Star Wars Poe Dameron Freefall is out. There's a great article about it on ScreenRant.com and a couple others out there that I've looked at. It helps fill in some of the details regarding Poe's time as a spice runner and his history with Zori Bliss. You guys did read those articles, right?
Yeah.
All right. So let's...
First off, the Spice Runner sounds like a band name. I feel like that could be a Star Wars band name.
That's a cool name.
Yes, the Spice Runners. I think we should start that. I'm going to copyright that. Anyway, so it's about, I guess like the quick little synopsis is basically Zori Bliss and the Spice Runners get stranded on Yavin 4 for a bit.
That even sounds like a better band name.
Zori Bliss
and the Spice Runners.
Yeah, there we go.
It's like Huey Lewis in the News or Gladys Knight.
Modal Nodes, Figure and Dan in the Modal Nodes. That's the band in the cantina in episode 4.
Yeah. You're not a fan.
Wow. I'm so out of it today. Okay.
You're tired. Wow. You didn't sleep last night.
Anyway, they get stuck on Yavin 4, which is where the Damerons live. Apparently, Poe just got into an argument with his dad, and he's all pissed off. So he's like, "Can I chill with y'all?" And they're like, "Sure." So he joins the crew, and then they go and do a lot of illegal stuff, like spice running, and eventually. Zori and him, they kind of like they like each other for some reason.
They have feelings.
They have a chemistry. And
what was that?
I don't know.
But
but eventually they capture like a rival gang or something like that, and the Spice Runners are like, we need to execute them, and Poe's not for that, so they like.
So Poe basically turns the table and like saves these bad the enemies, and then he has to leave.
And then he joins the resistance
after seeing a hologram of Leia.
Yeah, so that's like the general story or plot.
BB Nate, how do you feel about a criminal version of Poe Dameron?
I kind of like it. I mean, I
kind of like
it. I can go higher if I need to.
Let's not. We're good.
But it's really cool to see the different side of Poe Dameron that we started to see at the end of Last Jedi, and kind of saw a little bit through Rise of Skywalker. We saw the different versions of Poe Dameron, but it was cool to see a full book fleshed out about what Poe Dameron's past was. It kind of felt like it was a book that was trying to kind of really quickly bridge what happened for Poe Dameron's
trying
past.
to fill in the holes, and they're like, all of a sudden, Poe Dameron was a spice runner and Zori Bliss, and what was all that in this movie? And they had to,
and then they're like, oh yeah, just
retcon.
Hey, you guy, go write a book about it. And
230-page book. Go write it.
Yeah,
Hello
so,
there.
It's a short book.
Exactly.
That's normal.
It's a young
for
adult novel.
young adult. I guessed. I don't know.
I think it was cool. It
A
was
young adult
I think it's a
novel
cool story
about drug smuggling.
You know what? It is what it is. What it is. Is what I'm saying today. All right. Of course, Poe Dameron was played on screen by Oscar Isaac, who's going to be appearing in Dune.
I still need to watch that trailer.
Set to
It was
release
good.
this coming
It was good.
Christmas.
It was good.
It looks interesting.
I need to watch it.
We'll
I
get
haven't
it-
even seen the original Dune.
We'll get our.
I know.
I haven't either.
Nothing about that.
I haven't either. I just know that lots of people feel like George Lucas ripped off Dune when he wrote Star Wars.
I've heard about that.
So, all right, Daisy Ridley isn't completely shutting the door on Star Wars. So
This is the way.
This is the way.
that wasn't the quote I wanted.
Heard that one a couple
Let's try
times.
this again. Daisy Ridley isn't completely shutting the door on coming back to Star Wars.
Ray Skywalker.
There we go. All right. Sources.
Short clip.
That was a little
Okay,
underwhelming
quick
after
question.
the This Is the Way thing.
I can
though.
understand us using "This is the way" and "Who talks first" multiple times. When are we ever going to use Ray Skywalker again, or did you
For
just
this hot take.
for this hot
For
take?
this one.
You're not.
You don't like
Ray
it?
Skywalker.
No, I just don't understand.
I'm just going to trigger a bunch of sad.
Oh, yeah.
Sad
Oh,
fanboys.
so if we ever are talking,
I just
about,
want to play it over.
Okay,
and over.
so if we ever start talking about toxic
Hold on,
fan
hold on.
bases,
Everybody, hold on. Shh. Wait for it.
Ray Skywalker.
Yeah.
So if we ever start talking about toxic fan bases, just play that clip.
This is a beautiful sound.
Ray Skywalker.
All right. While most of Star Wars fandom was trying to wrap their collective heads around the idea of Rey Kenobi, many may have let a nugget of info slip through the
Now I want
cracks.
chicken nuggets.
Yeah, that sounds good. In an interview with her Murder on the Orient Express co-star Josh Gad, Olaf.
Wait a minute, he was in Murder on the Orient Express?
Yes, he was. He's filling in for Jimmy Kimmel Live, and they were interviewing each other, and they were doing it through Zoom. And
That's weird, but okay.
We live in a weird time.
These are unprecedented times.
These are unprecedented times. Ridley said, I mean, the world is a crazy place right now. 10 years seem an awfully long way away.
Way away.
That's what she said.
Wow.
I say never, but to me, Rise of Skywalker was tied up in a bow. Before you answer, wait for it. But then, is Daisy Ridley really keeping her options open, or is she just kind of blowing smoke here?
Ray Skywalker.
Yeah,
Who's going to go first? I'll let you go first, BB Nick.
I think she's like, if they ever want me to go back and it's going to be paying a lot of money, I'll go do it.
She's taking the Harrison Ford approach, right?
Yes. It's
yeah,
what if,
I'm never going to go back to that Star Wars movie. I don't want to do that anymore. $48 million. All right, I'll do Star Wars now. Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. If they pay her a lot of money, she'll go act. It's what happens normally. And so,
But I don't think it'll be any time in the near future.
No, I don't think it'll be anytime soon. And I don't want them to necessarily leave the Skywalkers alone. Let them live. Let them be at peace.
I know I know we've talked about this before, but like, where do they go with Star Wars now that the main, what it's been for the past 40 years, all about the Skywalkers?
Well, the answer to that question right now
is The Mandalorian.
Is The Mandalorian.
And Rebels.
No, it's The Mandalorian. So you've got that whole storyline.
Cassian.
Cassian, which is pre-Star. There's no Skywalker involvement in the rebellion at this point. I mean, we have Leia, but we don't even know that. Are we going to see a young Leia in Cassian? Do we get our Millie Bobby Brown moment?
No.
Wait.
You're going back 200, 300 years with the High Republic stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to the unknown regions with the Chiss, with Thrawn stuff, and I think that the Thrawn stuff is tying into the Ahsoka, Sabine, Ezra stuff for that. So
interesting.
Yep, interesting.
All right,
Ridley has a number of projects in various stages of production right now, but we'll have to wait and see if Star Wars may come calling again. All right.
Nice.
Dryden Vos, that one dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
He isn't usually on most Star Wars fans' list of greatest villains. However, Solo Star Wars Stories hinges on this character and Han and Beckett's insane plot to pay off their debt to him. But Dryden Vos that we got on screen was originally going to be a very different character played by a very different actor. And what's even cooler is that the real Dryden Vos wasn't the real bad guy anyway. So...
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
Michael B. Williams. We're like Mike on and everything.
Oh, cool.
This is like twice. Both
See,
of you guys.
Nathan did it. Now I do it.
Sam messed up. I'm okay now.
Yeah.
This is a real unfiltered episode.
So
y'all.
let's talk about that just real quick. We'll come back to it in a second.
that.
Michael K. Williams. That's what it is.
Okay, good. Because
he's right there on
B.
the notes.
Williams was
Michael
music guy.
Yeah, that's a different Michael
that's
Williams.
the guy.
Michael K. Williams. I don't know. What
Okay, he looks vaguely familiar.
Yeah. And initial Dryden Vos thoughts. Are you gonna just
You
yawn?
okay there?
I
Nate?
don't know. I'm a chronic yawner.
Where did we see that recently?
Chronic AFE. That's where I got it from.
Oh yeah, that lady. A girl
See?
said that
Yeah.
she was a chronic yawner.
Because that was a stupid
Initial
statement.
thoughts on Dryden Vos, Sam.
He's
a cool dude.
interesting. We gotta do it at least once an episode. No, I think he's a really fun character. He's that cool, calm, collected, but under the surface, really crazy bad guy. Best example I can think of, and this will be good for you, Nate, is like
Thank you.
Lex Luthor or something. You know, on the surface, Lex Luthor is really composed. He's this great businessman. He's brilliant, but if he needs to be, he can be completely crazy and flip the switch and go on a murder spree if he needs. So I like that kind of character because on the surface that doesn't quite seem like what's going on underneath.
Sam, or what's your name?
Nathan.
I'm
You're
Sam. No, you're pointing the wrong way.
You're Sam because the camera is flipped for me. I don't know why. Anyway, you're Sam and you're Nate. So Nate,
Yeah.
Yes.
you go.
Yes. Okay. My initial thoughts are that he's just a really cool character. I love the kind of the businessman approach that for a Star Wars villain we don't normally kind of see the.
Yeah, it's always like a super villain.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm a bad guy. I have a cool breathing apparatus. Ooh. But no, this guy's face flares up sometimes. So
That's such a cool feature that they threw in
I
at
know.
the last minute.
But
I
it's a lot
love
like
it.
it's a lot like how they mentioned in the article. It's a lot like that chick in the Freemaker Adventures.
Crap, I remember. I don't remember.
I
her
don't-
name.
I've
Nabe,
never
I think
watched
that's
that.
what it is.
Yeah.
But her face when she gets angry, it does light up and has those things. Why are you staring over there?
I'm looking at you on the screen right now on our video. So
Okay.
It's really disorienting.
It's so strange. But I mean, it's such a cool feature, the face, and I just like the version of Dryden Vos that we got. I'm happy they didn't go the other direction with the look of him. I like how they made him human, but not really. It's
Yeah,
really cool.
is a near human.
I like Dryden Vos. I love Paul.
Paul Bettany.
Is it pronounced Bettany? I always want to
Bettany.
call it Bettany, and I know that's not right.
Wow.
I think my first recollection of seeing him in a film was in A Beautiful Mind. He plays one of the. He's one of the hallucinations.
I always remembered seeing him in Avengers, or not Avengers.
Well, yeah, but that was
Avengers.
before that. So
Yeah, I know.
We
got
saw him
Fantastic
first in
Vision.
Avengers, but then you saw him. Dad saw him first in Beautiful Mind.
Right.
Yeah, so he's a fantastic actor, and it was fun to see him play that character, and he plays it with such he elevates the story because of the way that he carries himself, this mafia don type thing, which I think you were going to even talk about that. So I'll just hand it off to you, kind of, since I'm already going to start saying what you're going to say. So.
Yeah, I mean he's a gangster, really, but not like Jabba the Hutt kind of gangster. I don't know what the best way to put it. He's
He's a mafia don.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mafia Dons
But
are like,
I'm going to make him an offer.
but I felt like Jabba was more along those lines. He's more like a illegitimate businessman. in a sense, like the guy who'd be running the books for the gangster.
Okay, I see what you're coming from.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Because he's not like the hitman or whatever, or like the top guy, because we'll get into that. Anyway, he's a businessman and a gangster at the same time. He's always, the first time we see him, he's on the ship, right? That, I forget the name of it.
Space yacht.
The space yacht, right? And the first time we see him, he's like, he just got finished stabbing this dude. And immediately after, he puts the dagger down and he's like, get this out of here. I got some guests to attend to. After all, it's a party. I mean, he goes from literally killing a dude to it's all business in half a second. He's able to put on this really pleasant business look whenever he needs. But at the same time, he's also able to flip the switch. And if he needs to kill, he's able to kill. They're sitting there discussing what they're going to do about the whole coaxium thing. And he's like talking to Kira. Or no, this is actually at the end of the thing where he feels like he got betrayed and he doesn't have the coaxium. He's looking at Kira and he's like squeezing her neck. And you can see she's scared because she knows what
she's terrified of him.
Right. She knows what he can do. It's really, again, and this all goes back to the actor as well. He's able to portray both sides super well, and I think that's a really neat characteristic to see in a villain like that.
He wasn't always, like we talked about kind of at the beginning of the segment here, he wasn't going to be Paul Bettany. He was going to be Michael K. Williams, African American guy. He was going to be a mocap character, and that's the way he was actually filmed in the Lord and Miller version of it. And then they scrapped that, and I guess Michael K. Williams was filming something else. We talked about it at the time, was filming something else, and couldn't come back for reshoots. So Paul Bettany was like on the phone to his buddy Ron Howard. He's been in lots of Ron Howard movies, reaching out, begging for an opportunity to be in this. When he found out Ron Howard was going to be doing Solo, he just wanted any kind of part,
right?
In a Star Wars movie,
yeah, exactly. And so he got a chance to not only be in Solo, but to be the bad guy in Solo. And they changed up everything because I think they couldn't do the mocap stuff because of the time crunch that they were on. BB Nate, talk a little bit about what the Michael K. Williams character was looking like it was going to be.
So the Michael K. Williams character was going to be a very, very, very different from what we saw. A little bit of a tease. He wasn't going to be humanoid at all. He was going to be, ish. He's going to be, they described it a half lion, half man. It sounds like something from Narnia, but...
yeah, it's like a satyr or something.
Yeah,
the goat or centaur or whatever.
Centaur, I think is what you're going for.
But it was... And there was a picture of the concept art bust of him, and it didn't look quite like a Lasat.
It looked a lot like a Lasat to me.
It looked close.
Yeah.
But the snout was out too far to be the Lasat, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Because I like...
Rebels is your thing.
Yeah, the Rebels is my thing. So it's just... That was going to be who we were going to get. And now that I go back to it, I'm like, I don't know if I would have liked that.
It would have been...
It would have been
It would have felt very different if that had
very
been the
different
case.
film.
But I like the lines that show when he's angry or worked up. I think it's a really neat.
Yeah, and they weren't originally. I mean, that's not like a plan that was in during filming.
No,
they didn't tell Paul Bettany that was going to be happening. They didn't know. Afterwards, in post production, he sees some clips, and he had heard from Ron that they were going to be doing it. He sees the clips, and that's the first time he knew that was going on. So,
wow,
that was pretty cool. Here's the thing I think that's interesting about Dryden Vos. It's so hard to go back to the first viewing in your mind, right? Because of what happens after he's dead. He's not really he is the bad guy, but he's not the one pulling the strings.
Yeah,
he's
they
not
mentioned
the puppet master. He's a secondary bad guy. He's the face of Crimson Dawn. He's the face of evil in this. And that twist is really significant, not just because you get to see Maul, but because it changes the way that you view this character. You see this character as being this puppet that Maul is controlling from behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, as much as people are scared of Dryden, Dryden's scared of Maul. That's why he has to.
Yeah, I mean,
perform.
And I watched it yesterday. So did you know I watched Solo yesterday?
No.
Yeah, you get upstairs playing video games. BB Nate was doing whatever you were doing. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Fun.
Watching.
Watching Fandom.
Yeah.
And I was downstairs watching. I watched Solo.
Cool.
And it was so fun to watch Dryden Vos, because they knew we were going to be talking about him on the show. Watch him and realize he's got some fear in him.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just at the very end. He knows that there are people he answers to, somebody he's answering to, and you can kind of pick that up in the way that the character is played in this. So is Dryden Vos the bad guy, or is he just the face of the bad guy in this movie?
Well, I think he's certainly a bad guy. But I don't think he can be considered the bad guy.
Like the villain.
Right. He's still being controlled. Like throughout the original trilogy, the bad guy wasn't Tarkin. The bad guy wasn't Vader. It was the Emperor. But both of them were technically bad guys. So,
is he the villain? BB Nate?
No, I'd have to say Maul. That's what I still agree with that. Maul is the main bad guy of Solo. But Dryden Vos is definitely the face of the villain because his face.
Because of his face?
Yeah.
Oh, because the face is weird? I get the joke.
Yeah. Totally makes sense. Well, for this week's dad moment, and I forgot the clip, so I am your father. All right.
Okay,
this isn't always what it seems.
Deeper voice.
I can't do it. Dryden Vos, well, let me go back here. Life isn't always what it seems. Dryden Vos is evil. There's no other argument. But he's not the ultimate evil facing Han and Chewie. And it isn't until the end of the film that we see who's really been pulling the strings, and it's Maul. And life, honestly, guys, is the same. We see darkness all around us. Evil is everywhere. But that evil is often being manipulated by something behind the scenes. From a Christian worldview, which is what we have, we know that this evil isn't physical. Paul wrote that our struggle isn't against isn't against this world. It's against principalities and powers and rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in the spiritual realm. And understanding this, you good? He's holding
nice timing
the whole time. Understanding this changes the way that we view life.
All right.
Next week we're going to talk about Count Dooku.
Ooh, fun! This will be fun after listening to the Dooku Jedi Lost again pretty recently.
Yeah, Dooku's a great character. I would have cosplayed him at Celebration this year had there been a celebration.
Well, now you got more time to be ready for it.
Yeah, hold on just 1 second. All right, so is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Anything else?
So there is a new Lego Star Wars Mos Eisley Cantina, and it's a wretched hive of scum and villainy, and it's beautiful. And I need it on top of the giant Star Destroyer and the giant Millennium Falcon.
That's on top of the giant Death Star.
On top of the Death Star and a Slave One.
2 things you need before you can have
a job
and a place to live, because we don't have room for any of that.
Yeah,
all right,
true.
Next one.
Oh, wait. So Star Wars Squadrons goes gold just under a month before release.
It's pretty
It
good.
hasn't been released and it's already gone gold.
That's
for pre-sale. That's
Is that pretty good?
That's pretty good. Yeah,
that's really good.
That's awesome. And
I was a little worried it was going to underperform in sales.
It's because you guys went ahead and bought it. It's once that happened.
Oh,
it
it was
put
that
over the
one
top.
sale.
It's like whenever we go to a restaurant or something and it's completely dead, and we go in and then it starts getting
fills
super
up.
busy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to social distance when we walk in the room. All right. Ewan McGregor confirms.
It's our magnetic personality.
What we thought he already confirmed about the Kenobi series. Everybody's like, all these articles are like, he said that it's a limited series. It's a one
standalone
season
series.
Didn't we say that like two months ago? We reported that he's been saying that. I'm sorry. Star Wars news is quiet right now, so we got to make up stuff. Okay.
Hey, we are not Mike Zero.
No, we're not making it up. I think that there's other people that are reporting and making up stuff. So.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, so.
All right. So please give us a review on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Podbean. Trying to list all of them.
You can just if you listen to it on a podcast, find out how to give us a review.
Yes,
That's all
there we
asking.
go. If you can, but not Spotify because Spotify.
I took it off. I took it off so you wouldn't have to say it.
No, but I can say it. Okay, it's where I listen to all my podcasts so people can know about it.
Yeah.
So please give us a review. It helps people find the show.
It's been a long time since we had a review,
and it
helps
helps
us feel like we're not doing.
It helps our personal
ego.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And then go ahead and follow us on all our socials, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Tatooine Sons. At Tatooine Sons. And then join our discussion group. And you'll be able to see all our content first. You'll be able to see these live streams on Facebook. You'll also be able to see that on Twitter and YouTube as well. But it allows you to interact with us, help kind of shape the show. If we have any questions for you guys, you're able to answer them for us. And plus, it's just a lot of fun discussions.
It was fun. Yeah, it was a good show. I mean,
this was a little rocky,
but
this
disjointed.
week.
But when you try new things, there's hiccups, and so there were some hiccups with this.
But it was fun.
But
and that's what matters.
We
had fun,
and next we'll try to do a little better next time. So, is that cool? Anything else you guys want to say?
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you always.
It didn't play.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.